Thank you for joining me, Nicole BZ, in this next part of energy leadership. So we are going to get into the various steps and how to become an energy leader in this video. So you might want your notes from the last one, just identifying the 7 levels of energy. I lose, you lose, I win, you win, everybody wins. We're all just playing a game. And level 7 is what game? Reality is an illusion. It's a very meta place to be. First things first, you might be saying, well, why would I want to become an energy leader? This is a practical strategy to enable everybody to get their needs met as simply and efficiently as possible. So perhaps you can relate to working super duper hard, spending all night on a project, having multiple conversations with people, but yet nothing seems to come together. It can be incredibly frustrating. It can be beyond heartbreaking. And ultimately we can look back on those experiences and almost use them as reasons to defend our lack of success. The fact that we haven't achieved our ultimate dreams and goals. Now, that's pretty frustrating and defeatist. I certainly would not want to approach a new business that I'm going to start, a new investment that I'm going to get into, a partnership with that expectation of disappointment. You know, we talk a lot about, especially now, how to set yourself up for success, growth mindset, success mindset. And this is the practicality. This is the framework that takes mindset from this amorphous sort of esoteric concept into tangible action steps that you can choose on a day-to-day basis, on a moment basis that will change the results that you get. You can literally take the exact same action and get wildly different results when you check in with your energy and choose the level that's going to be most appropriate. So the example that I often use is imagine getting an email, and in that email, you receive some really, really hard negative feedback. It is personal, it is directed at you, it is about a mistake that you made, and you shut your computer and then you go into a really big meeting that has a large opportunity for you. And imagine presenting your idea to this group of people, having just received that super bad feedback. You might have a script, you might be well rehearsed, but that feeling of having failed infiltrates the entire presentation. And everybody kind of walks away like, okay, yeah, solid idea. Now imagine getting an email that announces the fact that you've just been selected for a huge award, that you are finally being recognized by your peers, by your community, by your industry, and that people want to celebrate you. And you had no idea this was coming, right? Now you close that email and you go into this exact same presentation. You give the exact same speech. What do you think would change? How do you think people would feel when you walked in that room knowing you're a winner as opposed to feeling like a loser? It changes everything. And again, you can take the exact same action. You can use the exact same words in the script. You're going to get wildly different results. Now, it's obvious when I talk about it like that, but how many times in your life have you taken action, hopped into your car, walked into a room, and not had any awareness around what level of energy you're in? More importantly, how often have you walked into a room or worked with others or sat down to get something done and just started chugging away at it no matter how you feel? I was going through this with one of my clients recently who is the leader of a nationwide franchise organization. I think I can say that. And they are pitching to new partners. They want to bring in some new leadership to the organization. And this is something we've been thinking about and we've been strategizing about for months. And it started to get delayed. Now, there had been some family stuff going on. Everyone was just exhausted at the end of last year. The energy wasn't there. But after a couple of meetings, my client just really wanted to get it done. He really wanted to show up to our next meeting, having said that activity was done, and he did. And the activity was not successful. The relationship, the partner that he reached out to said, yeah, let me think about it. Sounds good. I trust you. That was not the result he was seeking. He was seeking this incredibly excited, connected, co-creative, hell yeah, man, let's do this. And so I asked him, what do you think happened? And he said, I don't know. we talked about it. I practiced, I pitched. This is someone I know really well. I was really surprised. I was really disappointed it didn't go ahead. And I said, well, when you went into that meeting, how did you feel? I think there was a 2-minute pause on that conversation. Then he said, I didn't feel great. I was in a level, maybe a level 3. It's like, but I've been experiencing a lot of level 1 and 2 recently. It's so easy to judge that challenging energy. And the reason that we continue to experience it is because we bypass it, because we compartmentalize it, because we jump to that 3 and go, I don't have time for this now. I've got to get this done. I don't want to be spending all this money working with a coach or consultant and not having done my work. The reality is, and I know you can relate to this, when you step into that level 5 or 6 and trust, when I'm experiencing this energy, I'm going to be 10 times more successful. I allow things to happen and I get so much more done. We talk about that as flow state. When I'm in flow, like when I'm in my admin flow, I can get a month's worth of work done in half a day. But if I'm not in the mood for it, I will drag my feet. I'll do shitty bookkeeping and accounting, and I'll get subpar results, but I can tick the box that it got done. And so what I've learned and what my client learned in this moment is when we can trust that energy is absolutely available to us. And when we can't purposefully or consciously call it in, that's okay. It simply means we need to reschedule that activity, especially, and hear me when I say this, when the actions that you are taking are the ones that are designed to really move the needle in your business or in your life. Notice the energy that you're engaging with them, because they will exhaust you and frustrate you and disappoint you to no end if there is any catabolic energy, any level 1, 2, even 3 in that experience. So practice playing with this energy level. Figure out what your level 6 feels like, let alone looks like. I'll talk a lot about, again, I can go on and on. What is upstream from your success? What is downstream from your success? If you're swimming upriver, of course it's going to be more difficult. If you're going with the flow, of course it's going to be easier. But how do we manufacture that? How do we create that? I talk a lot about energy stacking activities. There are things that I have practiced and put into place that can help me move up that energetic ladder. As an example, when I'm in level 1, journaling, taking a hot shower or bath, going to the gym, moving that energy around. I've got about 37 different activities. And recently, I've gotten through all 37 of those, haven't shifted the energy, had to move some meetings around. Didn't have to, chose to. Chose to move some meetings around because my people deserve an energy level that is going to create success for everybody. And no one, people pay me way too much to have me at a level 3, let alone 1 or 2. So the first step to becoming an energy leader is bringing awareness to your energy level. The second step is bringing awareness to the energy levels around you and recognizing the reason that energy is there is because that individual or that collective is fulfilling a need. No one wakes up in the morning and thinks, I'm going to be a dick. I'm going to make things hard. I'm going to fail. I'm going to disappoint some people. Most people wake up in the morning wanting to do their best. And if you're witnessing something you may be experiencing as not quite the best, no judgment, right? There's a discrepancy going on. And oftentimes it's an energy level that's showing up. And that person is simply trying to fulfill a need. Level 1 probably needs a timeout. They need a break. They might need to get seen, heard. I'll go through a very practical step, or let me say a very practical activity you can use in any situation you can take away from this call that will quantum leap you into energy leadership. But recognizing that level 1 honestly needs a hug, and if that's not appropriate, a timeout. They need some space to heal, and you can't fix them. Level 2 wants to feel like they've got some power in the situation. They're feeling like they need to take it back. It can be very combative. It can feel very resistant, but meeting level 2 with level 2 is going to get more level 2. It could potentially get some level 1, or you might get some level 3 with people just being like, I don't. But again, how often are you seeking that response in order to create, to build, and to achieve success for yourself or for everyone around you? So starting to bring awareness to the energy in the room without resentment, without judgment, and hot tip, if you can trust that everybody is doing exactly what they need to do to get what they want and allow them to experience that energy, they will process it and release it. I go through this with leadership and with my clients all day, every day. Well, so-and-so's got attitude and this team's underperforming and they're not showing up to the brief. Those might all be very observable, objective facts. But the question is why? Why are we not seeing the results that we expected? And I guarantee you it's the energy. The energy is the elephant in the room, right? So I talked a little bit about judgment and trust. Identifying that in yourself is going to help you understand where are you leading from. Because if we are labeling this as a problem, what if it becomes a challenge? What if this is exactly what needs to happen? I celebrate cultures that bring challenges to the table, where people feel like they can identify a problem, a roadblock, an obstacle, and say, I don't know what to do with this. And leadership says, thank you. Thank you for bringing that to the group. Let's workshop this together. Rather than saying that person is complaining or they have a bad attitude or compartmentalizing, this is where we see a lot of organizations blow up, is people are afraid to bring the negativity into the group because they've been punished for it in the past. Every problem is an opportunity to improve. And when we take that reframe, firstly, we're calling in a level at 5 energy there, everybody wins. But then what we start looking for is the solution as opposed to the reasons for failure. So notice the judgment, notice the trust. That's what that, in my experience, is truly what's separating the catabolic from the anabolic. So some really powerful questions to ask yourself. If I guaranteed success, how would I approach this situation? What if this isn't a problem? What if I simply can't see the opportunity on the other side of this challenge and I allow this experience to play through? As a leader, sometimes things are going to fall over and you have to let them stand back up on their own. It can be very painful. It can be very expensive. Figuring out how those nuances can play out in your experience is something that you're obviously going to need to work on. It's not for me to say like, all problems are amazing and just let them burn it down. That's not what I'm suggesting, but looking for the point of origin in terms of how did that narrative start? What's the story I'm telling myself? Why? What's the need I'm trying to fulfill? So with that, let's talk about tactical empathy. So this is a strategy that what I was introduced to by Chris Voss, who wrote Leave Nothing on the Table. He's become one of the premier negotiation coaches and consultants in the world. So what I love so much about tactical empathy is it makes you a ninja at energy awareness, and it allows you to identify the energy without blaming or shaming and give people the opportunity to meet the situation where it's at. So if someone, again, is at a totally different energy level than you, more than 2 levels away, there's going to be a discrepancy. There's going to be a stretch, some tension, okay? So with tactical empathy, what we can do is simply repeat what has been shared. I'm hearing that you feel very overwhelmed by all of the different activities and projects, and you're not sure how it's all going to get done. That must be really stressful, and it must feel like you're going to fail. So what I've done there, I shouldn't laugh, that was kind of dark. What I've done there is I've repeated the person that I'm communicating with, the words that they're sharing. This allows them to feel heard, seen, respected. And you're also just effectively communicating, actively listening and saying like, I hear you. The second line, that must be really stressful because you feel like you are going to fail. I'm taking it one step further. I'm interpreting, I'm making assumptions very consciously. I'm identifying the energy in the room. There's a lot of level 1 here, right? That then gives them the opportunity to bring awareness to something they might not see at all, their energy, and or disagree or agree. Either way, you're moving them up the ladder because now they've got some power. So even if you're wrong, and in fact, I think it's better to be wrong because what you're doing is empowering the listener and they can go, oh my gosh, you're right. I feel like I'm set up for failure. You've moved them from 1, 2, now to 3. They can see the responsibility in the situation. They can see the moving pieces, and they want to know, okay, well, how is this gonna settle out? The flip side of that is they disagree, and they're like, no, actually, I'm just trying to plan my kid's birthday party, and I had planned on doing that during my workday, so there's a lot going on. And again, you're still moving them up the ladder. You've now empowered them. They can take some ownership of what's going on and recognize what's actually most important to them, which might not be the job at hand. No judgment. The point being, tactical empathy is an incredibly simple, incredibly powerful way to identify the energy, take it one step further by intuiting or reading between the lines. So we would call that empathetic listening. It's beyond active listening. And then you shut your trap. You stay quiet. And you stay quiet until the listener responds. That's it. That's how you become an energetic leader. I'm so excited to get into creative leadership, the benefits of energy leadership, and how to master this concept for yourself.